Yeah, my name is Paul Richards. I work within the pre-sales team for HP Networking, and I specialise a bit in the education market and schools in particular. So some of you may have seen my face at the vet shows there. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, it's more of a technology piece. It's more about what is the future of networking, and to explain kind of how that's relevant to you guys. Can I just have a very quick show of hands of those who have heard of software-defined networking, or SDN? And a quick show of hands are all those people who are sitting there at the moment saying, nothing to do with me, data center, don't care. Cool, that's not bad. Normally everybody goes, don't care, it's data center stuff. So what I'm going to do is just talk a quick bit about what SDN is, why we're interested in it in HP, and where we think it can help you guys out. So the last slide that you saw was about the challenges that we have within schools and within small businesses as well. That, you know, a lot of people have to wear lots of hats, look after lots of different types of equipment. That's very complex to look after, and as the demand from users, from students, from teaching staff, and from government, the pressure gets put on to be able to do clever things with shiny things in a school. And that means that networks are becoming larger, they're becoming much more complex, and much more time-consuming, much more expensive. So HP's theory around networking is about simplifying it, and I'm sure a lot of you know this already. So everything that we do, when you look at our innovations going back over time, has been about simplifying things to help you in your jobs and help to cut costs for you as well, both from the point of view of how you buy your equipment, but then how you look after it going forwards as well. So going back to the 90s, in 1993, we invented the lifetime warranty. So other vendors are now doing some form of lifetime warranty. We have, and I'll talk to you in a little bit about our limited lifetime warranty 2.0. Because everyone's got to have a 2.0 of something, so we've made ours our warranty. So I'll talk to you a little bit about lifetime warranty. Switch virtualization, so we're saying, you know, SDN's the biggest thing since virtualization. Everyone's saying, well, virtualization doesn't exist in the networking world. It does, and I'll tell you a very, very quick thing about that as well. Single pane of glass management. So for those of you who like to be able to see what's going on in your network, to be able to manage it for everything from smaller scale through to the larger scales networks, our BYOD management for our 300,000 plus users is all done on IMC, as well as schools and small businesses using it as well. Going right through to SDN, software-defined networking. All of these things are designed to try and simplify your operations and your network. So the first thing we do currently to try and simplify things is simplify the way that you buy stuff and the way that people sell stuff to you. Okay. So what we've done basically, we've taken our kit and we've broken it up into three clearly defined areas, but that's not three clearly defined product sets. Most of this, all of this stuff will talk to each other and work quite happily across the board. What we've tried to do is just say, okay, well, you're a campus type environment, you're a school or a college, then this bunch of equipment within our, if any of you have seen the HP networking website and the size of the portfolio, we can say, well, this part, this section works best in your environment. It's about simplifying the network, simplifying connectivity between offices, between buildings, and then making sure that your wired and wireless networks work together nicely. Flex Fabric talks about data centers. So where you've got larger environments, lots and lots of servers, again, need to simplify those networks, make them much more simple to build and look after. And then the Flex Branch goes down to branch office and very low-level usage of networks where we can bring in some good enterprise-level technology, but at that low cost where it's needed to be. Then we have Flex Management. So Flex Management is our IMC application. So that is looking across the entire network from wired, wireless, BYOD environments, security, even doing some clever things around server virtualization from a single pane of glass application. Okay. So when we look at the Flex Campus portfolio, this is just a quick snapshot of some of the kit that's in there. And this is basically just to show that it doesn't matter what kind of environment you're looking after, that we can help you to build a complete story with a single operating system right through from the biggest core of the largest network out to the smallest little office in a shed somewhere out the back of the playground. So whether you're looking for wired, wireless, whether you're looking for the edge of your network or the core of the network, and that all needs to be managed, we can help you with all of that. And we do it in an open way that's based around using open standards, so we play nicely with other people. So you can have, about 4 or 5 years ago, Gartner released this big report about having a mixed vendor network that, you know, if you only ever choose the best kit from that one provider that you use, you may well be limiting yourself in what you can do in your network. So if you use open standards for your networking, you can go to the supplier. We'd love you to buy all of our kit. It'd be wonderful. But what you can do in the real world is say, well, HP do the best for this thing, this company does the best for that thing. We can use them both together and they'll work nicely together. That's the idea of using open standards. So some innovation stuff that we have going on to try and simplify things. So the first piece of innovation was around lifetime warranty. So we now have limited lifetime warranty 2.0. So the 2.0 is that we still have, for as long as you own the product, next business day swap out of broken kit. We still have the telephone line that you can use to be able to get through and get support for that. If you need to be able to update firmware, just go to the website, download it. No support contract needed. And of course, all of our kit is fully featured out of the box. So if you buy a switch now and you're only using this much of its capability, but you want to be able to open that up and do something else later on, then you can do that without having to unlock features, load more licenses, and pay more money. The 2.0 bit, which is really quite key actually, is that all of our lifetime warranty kit now comes with a 3-year, 24/7 software telephone support. So if you're bringing kit into your network that maybe you've not used before, maybe you're looking at doing something slightly different with your network that you've not done before, that you're trying to add in a bit more intelligence, that you're not just having the old-fashioned flat networks, that actually if you get configuration issues, we've got 24/7 telephone support, phone up and get that help. Okay, so again, you know, where you used to have to look at having a support contract in order to be able to sort out configurations issues on a network, because hardware warranties don't normally cover that, actually ours does. So if you look across any other vendor in the marketplace and find out what their lifetime warranty is and then compare it to ours, you'll see it's an entirely different proposition. So this is a very technical slide, but really it's just to show you kind of the evolution of how we simplify networks, okay? And this comes from a data center technology. So when you look at how we try to standardize the way that we have multiple links going to servers, so we can, you know, do dual homing of servers into switches, but then we do dual homing of switches into core of the network. The way that that's done traditionally has worked well, but it doesn't really add any value to the way that the network works. So if you're having 2 links into the core of the network, one of those links effectively is dead. It's sitting there waiting for a problem, the other link dropping, for example, before it then starts to work. So you're not really seeing a lot of value from your investment in having these redundant and resilient links. We have a technology called IRF, which helps with that. So it enables you to stack multiple switches together, so where you have stacks within cabinets rather than having a chassis switch. You can do that, and what it does is it presents that stack of switches to the network as a single device with a single IP address, so you get nice, simple management, simple way to roll out firmware updates, for example, and then simplification from licensing from management tools such as IMC, because you've only got a single IP address. What you've also got is those multiple links are active, so they work together. So effectively, you're getting double the link than you would be from the traditional way of adding resilience into the network. Moving on from that, we have a thing called enhanced IRF. Now, this works incredibly well where you still have a lot of traffic going from the data center to the edge rather than across the data center or across the edge. What we have here is the ability to be able to stack together your access layer and your core of your network together as a single logical switch. So actually what you can do within larger environments is link together all of the switches from the core to the edge and have them appear to the whole network as a single switch with loads of ports on it. So again, simplifying things even further. All of that's good stuff and it's great, but it still sits behind effectively 30-year-old, 40-year-old technology. Okay? So this is basically Ethernet. And this is why we say that SDN's an exciting thing, because it's game-changing. It's changing the way that we do things. So if you take our traditional network, which everybody still uses now, works fine. We've got a bunch of switches, access points, routers, etc. on the network, okay? Regardless of what kind of virtualization technologies we use at IRF, enhanced IRF, etc., what we've still got effectively is a bunch of tin sitting on the network that's making its own forwarding decisions, having to be programmed individually, and runs on our good old-fashioned CLI. Okay, so for those of you, my particular interest in education is because I'm very severely dyslexic. So for me, when I'm looking at configuring stuff, if I can't copy and paste it, there's going to be an issue. And I don't know how many of you out there have had issues on your network. 9 times out of 10, and part of the reason actually that we've included 24/7 phone support on our lifetime warranty is actually idiots like me typing stuff wrong into CLI and breaking it. Okay, so part of the idea of SDN is to try and move away a little bit from this manual way of doing stuff. Okay, so not managing boxes individually. So say, for example, we're going to release Microsoft Link or a new voice system or a CCTV system onto our network, that we need to go to each switch effectively on the network and say, okay, quality of service, quality of service, quality of service. What we can do with the new way of doing things within SDN is that we can look across the entire network, regardless of what that device is, and treat it all as a bit like a single switch, without having to mess around in a lot of CLI and look at boxes individually, and without each of those boxes having to make their own forwarding decisions and cope with your spelling issues. So what we do from an SDN perspective is we take a switch. Now, a switch has got 3 layers in it, effectively. It's got a management layer, which is the CLI. It's got a control layer, which is the brains that tells how the data to fly around the network. And then you've got the data layer, which is effectively the dumb bit in the switch, which just forwards packets of information as quickly as it possibly can. That's all it's interested in. With SDN, what we do is we take the management and the control layers away from a switch, we centralize them within an SDN controller on the network, and then that tells all of the data within the network how to flow around. So it's a big change in the way that we do things. What we end up with is centralized management and control of the network. We're able to make changes to the network dynamically, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute when we look at what applications are available to be able to help us with this. And then all our switches become, effectively, for the sake of an application, are just dumb boxes, just throwing packets of data where they need to go. Okay? So it simplifies the network even further. And in the long game of this, in years to come, what you'll probably find